Hey everybody, how are you? So, I'm sure you've all heard that within the next 24 hours, we're going to be seeing our first presidential debate between Biden and Trump, at least this time around. So, there's been a lot of people trying to guess how the debate's going to go and speculating wildly, but I don't want to do that. All I want to do is provide some guidelines for your thinking as we're coming into this debate and as we're watching it. So, firstly, what do the two candidates need to prove? In Biden's case, he's got to prove basically that he's not dead. And this is going to be pretty easy because he's not dead. The truth, in this case, is on his side. And he's not senile either. You know, Biden, even recently, has been able to give fairly long, cogent, clear speeches on various topics. And when Biden's talking about an issue, even if you don't agree with him, at least the man understands what he is talking about. He knows these issues because, as everyone's been saying again and again and again, he's been doing this for about 1,000,000 years. He's a lifelong public servant, and there are some benefits to that. So Biden's not going to have trouble on that end. Trump, on the other hand, he needs to prove that he's not crazy. And in his case, that is false. He is crazy, and he's getting crazier. His recent speeches, he's talking about sharks and electrocution and Hannibal Lecter. It's not even just the lies. It's kind of the point where I literally do not understand what he is saying. And, I usually catch the deep cuts from MAGA World. Sometimes they refer to things that they really only talk about between themselves on their podcasts and whatnot, and most people wouldn't understand it. I usually do. Not anymore. The guy is just babbling at times. So now, what do the candidates need to do to kind of achieve their goals? So Biden, he has to push Trump to the breaking point. He has to call him out on lies. And the thing is, everything is against Trump on this. Biden has a good record. He can hit Trump, on the other hand, on injecting bleach on January 6th. He's a felon. He's an adjudicated rapist. Biden, on the other hand, has very good economic numbers. The largest infrastructure investment in decades, despite Trump's idiotic infrastructure weeks that he had 1,000,000 times without ever even writing a single bill, let alone passing one. We've got cheaper oil and the highest oil production, domestic oil production ever. In fact, the highest oil production of any country in the history of the world ever. Biden has a lot to campaign on and a lot to hit Trump on. Now, Trump, what he's got to do to achieve his goal is just hold it together. Just don't sound like a lunatic. And if he can be kind of overbearing and tough a little bit on Biden without sounding, again, like a lunatic, that will be good for him. Now, I really don't know to what degree he can do this, because he's been trying in recent interviews to roll back some of the crazy, to, I'm not going to be an actual dictator on day one. I'm not really going to get revenge on all my enemies. I'm not actually going to lock up the immigrants in camps. But those were with friendly interviewers. All Biden has to do is give him a little poke. Just say, hey, who won the 2020 election? And Trump will lose his mind. He will freak out and act like a crazy person. The only question is, will Biden actually do that? Now, how have their teams been preparing for this? In Trump world, there's been a lot of preparation externally. We can see that his people are laying the groundwork for this debate. Now, I don't know what they're doing internally. I assume there's going to be, we've even heard in the media that there are attempts at debate prep with Trump, but I don't know to what degree this guy can be prepped. He doesn't really listen to feedback. He doesn't listen to criticism. He's an emotional man baby. And if you just poke him, like I said, even a little bit, any kind of training or practice or plan is going to go completely out the window. And that's why MAGA World is overcompensating by preparing externally, by laying out the playing field. Firstly, by trying to come up with excuses for why Biden might overperform. And that's where this whole story, this nonsense story about Biden supposedly being on drugs for the debate. I mean, they rolled this out when Biden showed himself to be, again, not dead during the State of the Union. And it's just so pathetic and ridiculous. You know, I guess most ironic of it all is that one of the guys pushing this claim that Biden's going to be on drugs is Ronnie freaking Jackson, who was a former congressman and the personal physician of Donald Trump, who got a reputation as being Dr. Feelgood because of the, shall we say, very open practices of his pharmacy department during Trump's term, and that there were some really strong irregularities. But no, of course, it's going to be Biden that's on drugs. Not that they have any evidence, but, I mean, I've given up on even expecting them to pretend to have any actual evidence in this case. So they're attacking Biden, and of course, they're attacking the moderators, saying that they're going to be biased, that everyone is biased. That's what they always say. Everyone is biased against Trump, even when it's his own Republican cabinet officials that are turning out against him. Oh, it's biased. This kind of thing has been driving me nuts for a while. And it's not just any one instance of calling people biased that bothers me. It's this whole view of the world that MAGA tries to push, that everybody is either on the one side or on the other side, that everybody is biased, that there is no such thing as even the possibility of an objective truth. There can't actually be facts. And the reason that they are like this, why they push this kind of worldview, is because at the end of the day, it's not the moderators that are biased against Trump. It's not the political officials or the media or anything else that's biased against Trump. Reality is biased against Trump. The facts are against him. He lost the 2020 election. His response to COVID was catastrophic. He lies about everything. Everything. Starting from his very inauguration, he lied about the size of the crowd. He just lies. And the fact is, if you're a member of the media and you're dealing with Trump, if you're not against him, you are pushing a lie. That's it. Like, you cannot be honest and support Trump. Those two things are mutually exclusive. But of course, MAGA World will never admit to that. So they're always going to say that everyone is against Trump and everything is biased. Now, how is Biden's team preparing for this? Frankly, I don't know. I don't know if they even really can, because the people around Biden, they are managers, they are technocrats, and they are very, very good when you need to write a bill like the Inflation Reduction Act, when you need to craft a policy. They're very good at that. What they are really, really, really bad at is moral clarity. They are really bad at sounding like people. They sound like politicians. And Biden's best advisors, his closest advisors, are all of that type. And I'm afraid that they're going to tell him, you don't want to push back on this guy. Just let him sound crazy. You want to be dignified. You don't want to offend anybody or cause a mess, because that's what these people are about. You know, they have no boldness. They just want to manage things, you know? Keep everything running smoothly. No conflict, no friction. That's the reason why they're constantly trying to negotiate with Republicans who call them pedophiles. They think, oh, maybe we can find a common ground with these people. No, you can't. And just being presidential, like I've heard people who are close to Biden and people high up in Democrat world, I guess you could call it, saying things like, oh, he can't take the bait. He can't get into it with Trump. He shouldn't talk about the convictions. He shouldn't talk about January 6th. He shouldn't get down into the muck. And I just want to hit myself because of how stupid this approach is. The thing is, Biden has good instincts. He is a decent man with good moral instincts. And a lot of the people around him are constantly telling him to shove those down. These are people who have been so workshopped, so focus grouped in their own minds that that's just how they think. And I'm afraid that that will rub off on Biden. However, I will say this. I recently saw an interview with someone high up in Kamala Harris's team who was saying, who was involved in their interview prep and whatnot, in their debate prep, and was saying things like, oh, we're telling them you got to go hard. You have to really make your case. I hope that will be the case. And I hope that Biden takes a bold stand in taking back certain issues from Trump, like immigration. Biden's recent executive order on immigration has cut migrant encounters by about half in a couple of weeks. Now, of course, there are a lot of problems, like the horrible humanitarian situation at the southern border with all of these people who simply have nowhere to go, who are fleeing their countries because they're so desperate, and because we can't get real immigration reform done here, partly because the Republicans are constantly blocking it, these people are suffering. Biden has to take back that issue. He tried to compromise with these people with that border bill that they did just a few months ago until Trump canned it. And now Biden had to go around the Republicans in order to get something done on the border. It's ridiculous. Take that issue back. Take back foreign policy. You know, the Republicans claim that they that they're the ones that are going to be protecting America, putting America first. Complete nonsense. Trump adores America's enemies, and he hates America's friends. Heck, you can even take back Christianity, because all of these Republican Christian nationalists seem to ignore everything Jesus had ever said, all those things about kindness and caring for the poor and whatnot. Biden should do this. He can do this. I just hope he will do this. Be bold and let Trump be crazy. And I hope that that contrast will make itself clear and that something positive will come out of tomorrow's debate. But I really don't know if it will, because both of these men are very set in their ways, and I don't know how much change we can expect from either of them. So, let's hope for the best, guys. Till next time. Bye-bye. Thanks for watching that, guys. I really appreciate it. If you liked that video, then please like the video. And also subscribe. That would be really, really helpful. And most of all, please leave a comment if you can, because firstly, it really helps algorithmically, and also I'm pretty new at this, and I could use the feedback. So if you could do that and also share these videos with your relatives and friends, that would be really nice. Till next time, guys. Bye-bye.